Hey, good morning, everybody, and happy Tuesday. My name is Brittany Jennings, and I'm with the Seniors Blue Book. And today we are over Zoom, and we are live with Debra Fortosis of Elite Senior Companions and Elite Family Care. And I also have Don Fitz of Cornerstone Lifecare and Alderman Oaks. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
Great.
I'm over at the beach. If y'all want to join me, I'm just saying.
I'm ready for the beach.
I know. I know it. How, before we get started and everything, what are some of the ways that you guys have been kind of coping with everything, being at home and being quarantined? What are maybe some new hobbies or things that you've picked up?
Go ahead, Deb.
Okay, so one thing I've been doing every day, which has been super helpful, is walking 2.5 to 3.5 miles a day. It kind of gets you outside a little bit, and it's hard to sit inside and kind of keeps me from going crazy.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Don?
Well, in terms of my situation, I have some minor physical challenges, so I'm not quite as active along the lines Debra was just mentioning. So to be honest with you, I'm having fun being sort of creative as far as looking at different options or opportunities as to how to react creatively to what's going on. So it's more of a mind and other types of approach than it would be a physical type of approach at this point.
Absolutely. I think for me, I've tried to do like a combo of both, but one of my favorite things, I just love, we have a convertible and we just like to go and just ride around and just get some fresh air and just look at our paradise, be reminded of where we live, why we live here. So
right.
Absolutely. And like Dawn said, I think being creative during this time is so important. Looking ahead for down the road and what you can do to make things better for your business.
Exactly. A lot of, I think, new exciting things that'll come. And the reason why we're all three on this call together, you guys have a new partnership. And we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. But I want to first start with Debra. If you'll share a little bit about yourself and how your companies came to be and some of the services that you provide.
Okay. Well, the Elite Family Care started 10 years ago after I lost my corporate America job. I had to find a way to reinvent myself. So my daughter actually came up with the idea, hey, Mom, why don't we start a nanny babysitter agency? So we did. We started in a down economy, and can't say that was easy, but and what we do is we help families find in-home nannies, as well as we're a babysitter service for local and vacationing families. So it's been wonderful because we're able to find, well, what we do basically is we do all the interviewing, calling the references, the background screening, and we look for fun, engaging nannies and babysitters for that side of the business. Then a couple of years later, I saw a need to provide consistency in care for our senior population. So I got my license to be a private duty senior companion care agency. And I love both sides. We're helping both sides, the seniors and the children who are the most vulnerable people in our society. As far as the senior care side, we're a little bit different in the fact that we only work with local seniors who can commit to 2 days, 4 hours. And that is because I'm a firm believer in consistency in care. And I do work a lot with Alzheimer's. So I guess to sum up just the overview of what I do, as far as the senior care side, I still have my very first client from 8 years ago, and I've gone through early to mid to final stages of Alzheimer's with him.
Wow.
He's in long-term care, and some of my caregivers have been with him 6 years, and it is so awesome to watch, and I have such a passion for that. So I guess I could say I'm very fortunate to be in a business where I'm coming alongside and helping others.
That's amazing. It speaks volumes that you've had a client, that you've been with that client for so long. How about the area that you cover? I know you're in Sarasota, that's where your office is, but are you mostly Sarasota County or do you cover other areas?
So on the child care side, we kind of do it more by city. We cover Parish all the way down to Venice, out to the beaches, and of course East County in both Bradenton in Sarasota. On the senior care side, we're licensed for Sarasota and Manatee County both.
Okay.
We mostly work Sarasota County. We work Sarasota, Venice, and mostly East County, Bradenton, all the way up to probably State Route 64. You just can't do it all. I can't be everything to everybody. So I had to kind of fine tune that side of my business.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And I do want to pull up real quick while we're talking. I have your websites pulled up so people can look at those. So this one is the Elite Family Care website. It's elitefamilycare.com. There's a lot of great information here for your child care side. And we have Elite Family Care, which is Elite Senior Companion side. And I haven't had enough coffee yet this morning, Debra. So this is eliteseniorcompanions.com, and I'll put this information, of course, in the post, but there's a lot of great information on your website. So thank you.
One of the things that I did forget to mention is that on the child care side, and this is something that Dawn and I are going to be getting into, but we also have worked, we do weddings and corporate events and that type of thing, so more group child care, and that's something that Dawn and I will get into later. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much. Let's go over to the infamous Dawn Fitz.
I consider that a compliment. Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Brittany, and Samantha, the publisher of the Seniors Blue Book, for doing this right now, and also doing it beyond just the session today. And you've been of tremendous value prior to what's going on now, and I know your heart is to be communicating and being helpful and helping to serve the community as far as getting news out or sharing information and so forth. So my kudos to Samantha and you and your team, and I appreciate being a part of this, first of all. I wear two hats other than the one I'm wearing now. Yeah, I am the marketing director of Alderman Oaks Retirement Community, and then I'm also co-founder and president of Cornerstone Lifecare. Alderman Oaks Retirement Community is a privately owned, sort of medium-sized retirement community in downtown Sarasota, right where Pineapple and Orange and Mound all merge, and it's truly downtown. And as I mentioned, it's privately owned. We're and a little bit smaller in terms of number of residents, staff, and so forth. We have independent living, true independent living, and assisted living. And during this time, we are definitely open for business, sort of under special means and ways and so forth. We're having new residents come in, and we do have some furnished studio apartments for assisted living immediately available to help those who may need some help during the transition. On the Cornerstone Lifecare side, we are basically a network of partners and resources, and Debra being one with her two elite companies. And that would be an example of how we bring together services. We refer to services, we have partners for both an in-home environment as well as transitioning into retirement communities. Excuse me. And the way we work is we have 5 consultants that would initially hope to meet with, let's say, the family or the client or some combination in their home, and go through due diligence, go through an assessment, and then come up with recommendations in terms of whether it's an aging in place decision, staying right where they are, which is very popular right now, to say the least, or transitioning into retirement communities. So our consultants will spend time with again, individuals and families, and then we will come up with conclusions and directions, plans of direction and things like that. And then one area of emphasis for us now with Cornerstone is a stay-at-home campaign, which would seem logical at this point in time. So we actually try to bring as many services as possible into the home to serve our clients and patients and residents in the home environment. So that's sort of capsulizes what Cornerstone Lifecare is about. And what I'll do, I think you're going to mention a couple of websites, and then I'll transition into the relationship with Debra and how that evolved. So go ahead.
Absolutely. So I have up the Cornerstone and the Alderman Oaks websites. The Cornerstone one is cornerstonelifecare.com, and great website. Looking through here, there's Dawn's picture, of course, and you've got your black hat on in that picture.
That's right. Yeah.
And then we've got Alderman Oaks, which is aldermanoaks.com. This is a fantastic community. I've been in it myself several times, and it's so charming and such a great area for people that love that downtown feel. So great care and everything that you guys do there, Dawn.
Well, thank you. Thank you. So I'll transition into the program that Debra and I have put together. And it really evolved from my experience at Alderman Oaks. What we found initially is there were some real challenges as far as our employees and their children, childcare, and how was that all going to evolve as we transitioned into responding to the pandemic. And I did a lot of research with the traditional child care industry. In other words, child care centers, and what are the policies and guidelines and things like that, and which are available, which ones are still open and still available to take care of the children of employees, of first responders and healthcare employees and that type of thing. And I found it was all over the board. There were certainly some government agencies that would point people to child care and be assisting with that. There were the YMCA down in Sarasota, as an example, down in, Venice, the Sky Family YMCA had a special program for employees, children of employees, first responders, and healthcare, but very little going on and a lot of challenges and so forth as far as providing child care for children during this time. So I talked with Samantha, your publisher, and said, do you have somebody in mind that might do nanny type things or childcare type services, that type of thing, it going on site into an environment other than in the in-home environment. And so she put me in touch with Debra. Debra and I got together 6 feet apart and strategized what to do, especially as she had mentioned earlier, with the area of programs that she has, where she goes out and does special events and does group settings and that type of thing, and how might we adapt what she does to, let's say, an assisted living facility that might want to set aside some space, and under a very structured way and a very monitored way to have children come in of the employees, and then for Debra to provide her services through Elite Family Care. And so that's what evolved. We came up with a program, have supported it with marketing, and have begun to communicate with places like retirement communities or other approved businesses that are still open during this time. And we're beginning that process. And what I'd like to do, unless you have any comments of me at this point, is maybe turn it to Debra and have her explain a little bit about the due diligence that she does and how she goes about getting those individuals that we go in and supervise or oversee the child care at an employer or at a non-for-profit location, that type of thing.
Go right ahead.
So, and that's kind of what we were talking about with the creative ideas. I thought it was a real creative idea that Dawn came up with. And of course, we have the limit of 10 people in a room right now. Child care is working a little bit different because, as you may know, some of the preschools are still open. Some have closed, but there are some that are open. But what we can do is go into, it would have to be a separate room because they can't go through these seniors if it's in a senior facility, and provide child care for 8 children at a time. They might be different ages, and then we would have 2 sitters there. And that way you have one that engages with the younger or takes care of the younger, and one that engages with the older so they're not bored. And they can do help with homework, because right now I think some parents would like to be able to send their kids somewhere. They're struggling with that right now. So they can help the older ones with homework and that type of thing. All of our girls are following the CDC guidelines. Many of them are home right now. And, you know, it's just a way for people to be able to get their employees to come to work if they don't have that family member who's not working right now that can take care of their children.
It's a fantastic idea. I remember working in an assisted living community myself, and even before all this, happened, childcare is always a concern. It's you have a lot of employees, of course, that have children, and how do they manage them when they are they don't have a babysitter or whatnot. So this idea is more important than ever, maybe now, but also I think going on in the future, it's a fantastic idea moving forward.
And it would work different based on the situation, how many children there are and what the need is. So it would really be individualized based on who calls and needs the help. I can't give pricing out or that type of thing because it is going to depend on the situation and everyone's going to be a little bit different. Do you have any input on that, Dawn?
Well, I absolutely agree that the wonderful thing is you already really have the model to some extent with the special event sitting that you do and the variety there, and how we've talked before about how at times how many sitters you need and the age ranges of the audience. And then the other neat thing is you're very willing and open to be creative in terms of assessing the situation and what are some of the things your sitters might bring to the session itself, as far as activities or educationally oriented things or that type of thing, where you're very willing to, I think you even mentioned at times you go out and do shopping and pick up special types of items or special things to do and so forth, which is really, really neat as to the way you're customizing or accommodating the specific situation.
Right, and that could be, Brittany, that could be creating an art and craft for each day based on the ages of the children. It could be some older kids, believe it or not, they still like board games. It's hard to believe because they're into the other type of games, but a lot of kids like that one-on-one attention.
Absolutely.
We have such a busy world today, and I just think that they enjoy that. So anyway, I thought it was really unique when Dawn came to me, and it's a great idea.
I think so too. And so if people are listening and let's say they work in a community or maybe they're gonna, eventually in the future have events, like is the best way to reach out to you, Debra? And would you do like a phone kind of consultation with them on their specific situation, or how can people kind of get to know their situation and what that might cost?
Yes, so I do have a full-time assistant. Her name is Ellen, and she gets our calls and everything. And what she'll do is pass it along to me because I kind of handle that part. And then together, her and I will come up with a plan based on the need, whether it's, we're talking about this type of childcare or a wedding or what have you. We kind of design it based on the needs. We've done some really large weddings in the area too. So that's, we're pretty much used to designing it based on what the need is.
That's awesome. Well,
yeah, just reach out to me, ask for me. You'll get my gatekeeper first, but she'll pass you along to me.
Perfect. I'm going to put, of course, both of your information about both businesses kind of that you have going on. And you guys are great resources in the community. And even Debra, too, on the senior side, like, have you guys been grocery shopping or picking up medications? Talk about that a little bit about, what you've been providing besides care during this time.
Well, actually, I'm doing a number of things right now. I know we've got a group going on within the senior community right now that are making masks for people. And I volunteered to do drop-off and pickups for that. So I'm just kind of waiting for them to get back to me. They're making them now very diligently. That's with Hope Carey. And then one of the ideas I came up with is I'm putting together some little Easter treats in a bag that I can leave at people's doors. And I got that idea from another group I'm in on Facebook that's called Live to Give. Mm-hmm. And it's just really neat to do things for people right now who may be alone at home and they don't have anyone. They might be talking on the phone, but just drop it off at their door. You don't have to, just let them know you did that. There's just so many cool things you can do to make their day a little brighter.
Yeah, I really love how everybody is just coming together through everything that's happening, and this program, you know, is happening because of the circumstances. And like I said, I think it's something that's going to be, it's such a fantastic idea. And for those people that are listening, I really do feel they'll engage with that and use your resources.
That's right. That's right. We all have to be there for each other, and just picking up the phone and calling that person that may be alone, you know, whether they're elderly or single and just don't have anybody. I have someone here in the area that actually works for me, but she lives alone and she's going crazy
I
because
bet.
we don't, you know, we're not as busy, of course, with this going on. So.
Well, Don, do you have any last words of wisdom as we close out?
Well, just in closing, I would encourage people to take a look at our website, cornerstonelifecare.com, and focus on our stay-at-home campaign. Would love to have you get in touch with, or I can arrange for it, one of our consultants to just talk a little bit over the phone at first about what some of the in-home needs are and so forth. It's a real challenge at this point in time for people either on their own to get out of their living environment and do a number of different things, and in some cases very reluctant to do that. So we still are going into the home, again, under sort of selective or restricted basis, but we're still going into the home with different types of services, whether it be medically related or home health or that type of thing, but really want to help to guide people and support people through this process. So feel free to get in touch, and thank you. Thanks once again for allowing us to be a part of this broadcast here.
Oh, absolutely. It's a pleasure to have you both. And for everybody that's watching, thank you so much. There's a couple comments. Lisa Gates, I just want to mention, she said that she would be happy to help. I'm not sure exactly where she commented, but I know Lisa Gates would love to, I think, connect with both of you if you haven't already talked to her with her Metamorphosis 3. This is great. And again, thanks for your guys' time, and I look forward to all the amazing things that you're doing.
All
Thank
right.
you so much for your time.
Have a blessed day.
All right. You too. Thank you so much.
Take care. Yeah.